sons, the daughters, the moms, dad, everybody comes. And so that's another reason we get the team to be involved in, just to get more people to the events. Not that they're not successful, but that's one easy way just to get a few more heads there. And that's what everybody would like to see based on the feedback we're getting. We'd like to see more people like the events.
Is downtown progressive events?
That's what we're talking about with Newberry. For instance, the first one we'd like to do in March is the diner room. And we'd like to have maybe an appetizer at a restaurant, an entree at another one, providing some type of music maybe, and then doing a dessert at another one, finishing up some coffee at half full or a drink before Richard or something like that. That's an idea for a progressive event. Yeah, basically. And a lot of places, when you see those organized, the restaurateurs downtown are putting that together. But we feel like doing these things kicks that off, sort of gets that idea going, and having people participate will sort of make that get down the road a little bit, make it easier when we want to do this in the future for people to say, man, I remember that, and that was a lot of fun. I want to come back and do it again. So we're hoping that's what will happen. We wanted to do another one where we could get people into the stores, maybe doing a wine and cheese. We've been talking with Deborah about that. There's some problems with trying to get an alcohol license to be able to do wine and cheese in the stores. That might not be one that we end up being able to do, but we want to do something that will be attractive to folks to come down and bounce from store to store and hear some type of explanation on. We were hoping for wine and cheese, but something along those lines.
I was talking to actually 3 of my wine and beer purveyors, and it's an absolute no-no because, I mean, those licenses are expensive and they have to go through sled checks, so not done. But there's nothing to say you couldn't do a spiced cider. I mean, that's hot chocolate. You could do spiced apple cider. There's all kinds of different things that don't necessarily have to have alcohol involved.
I like chocolate, so I mean, chocolate tasting's always different.
I have a question about, because we were going over this last night at the city council meeting. Because we have an awful lot of people who've been coming to these meetings, they have a lot of good ideas. So they also have some ideas for events, but if these are closed meetings and it's already been decided who's on it, then how do we get, there's other ideas that are certainly good enough to listen to, and how are we gonna get them in there?
Absolutely, that's why you have 3 representatives on the board, and Kathy, and Eddie, and Amy. And they are there to carry your ideas, to bring them to us, for us to discuss. There's no way that we could sit down with 30 people and come to an agreement on anything. It just won't happen no matter what the topic is. So our idea was to do a representation of Main Street, because if you look, Eddie's on one end, Kathy's on the other, Amy's in the middle, and their combined experience and their background and what they do, we felt was a very good cross-section of downtown. And I hope you'll take your ideas to those people and have them carry them to that meeting.
Are they here tonight?
Yeah.
And good here.
Well, so, and who's gonna make the decision on how, is it
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to get into that too.
Yeah, so suppose we have these ideas. You're saying that one of the problems is that the community itself does not get involved enough, and that's the way we feel as well. We would like to be more involved.
Sure.
But if it's a separate committee and we're not getting any input and we don't know, one of the things I hear a lot from people is, I've heard a lot of hurt feelings from a lot of the businesses because we feel like it's all just kind of foisted on us.
Decided for it.
It's decided for us and we're just kind of told what to do, and then if we are not incorporated into what happens, and it does create a problem. So I'm trying to actually help you eliminate a problem here. They want to be involved.
Absolutely.
So we need to find a way that we can have a voice instead of you just giving us a list of what we have to do now.
That's not what I said. See, what I said was, you have the opportunity to communicate with the folks on that board, and they're going to communicate and make decisions. So you have a voice on that committee. You have 3 voices on that committee that are downtown merchants.
So who's going to have the deciding vote?
Is it going to be?
If it's going to be a vote, or how does it even
Not
happen?
everything will carry to an official, unanimous vote or a majority vote. We'll sit down in that group, we'll try to figure out the best way we can do it, we'll look at the budget, we'll see what's possible, and we'll move forward from there. We will always try to make the best decision for downtown Newberry.
Excuse me, can I make,
Yes, ma'am.
can I make a comment? Way back when we had our antique store downtown and all the stores were pretty full, we had a group that got together and they didn't have really any programs down here. They didn't have a home tour, they didn't have Oktoberfest, they didn't have anything. And so we, as a whole group of merchants, decided on 6 events. And that was, we had an arts and antiques fair, we had the Oktoberfest, we had a taste in Newberry, which wasn't all restaurants. It was all the stores, and all the stores featured what they were noted for, if it was antiques or art or handiwork or anything like that. And then each store would have food, wine, soft drinks, entertainment, and that sort of thing. And so it involved everybody, not just the restaurant. So when, after I left, and a lot of us left that were taking a lot of these things on our shoulders, they changed it, and they just have it down at the square now. And that excludes a lot of the businesses up the street. For instance, this one. And the same thing went with St. Patrick's Day. I think Nisi can tell you about that. Every restaurant downtown, when we first started that program, had entertainment.
Biggest day of the year by far. By
Almost
far.
always the biggest day of the year. And those were things that all of us decided were important. We decided 6 types of programs a year, and then we each took one. A group of us would each take one that we specialized in. For instance, Paula Riddle did the Arts and Antiques Fair, and then Taste of Newberry with someone else, and Beverly Ringer and her husband and a bunch of others did the Oktoberfest. I was responsible for the very first billboard you folks had here in this town. And all we put on that billboard was antique malls, because at the time we had 5. And that is what pulls people off the highway. It's not Oktoberfest that you put up 3 months in advance. You have to put something on that billboard that people say, oh, let's stop off there. So that the billboard, and Amy Talbot, as a matter of fact, and her husband did one coming out 85, coming down from Greenville. And then ours was the one near the I-20, I-26. Way up there, everyone could see it. And then when the city took it over, we lost our good location. We lost our good billboard. Then they changed it to something mundane like historic Newberry. And you have to have keywords on that billboard that brings people off that highway.
And
Now,
every town
home
itself
tour
is
is another
historic.
thing.
Yeah.
You could be
home
local.
Tour, historic home tour is another thing that pulls people off. So you have to gear your message to pull the people into your town.
We have heard that the studies are that a lot of people are coming up from Florida. South Carolina is such
95.
a sweet spot in the
Right,
nation, where there's only
95.
2 ways out of Florida. There's only
Mhm.
75 to 95, and they're also coming down from the north.
Right.
So we could actually key some of those areas. 95 is a really good one, right when they're heading up.
There,
And, somewhere Myrtle Beach is the other most popular.
5 years ago, I
Myrtle
gave
Beach
the-
and Charleston are
Gave you
really
the number
popular
for that billboard
destinations.
coming down 90.
yeah, we had 2 billboard locations we were gonna go ahead with, and then I don't know what happened to it. I think the city just abandoned it. One was coming down from 77 from the Midwest, the Northeast actually, and then one coming up from 95. Now, when Ralph Lizio was doing some work here, and there was that big hurricane, he had the funniest billboard coming out of Florida in 95. It said, Newberry, free from hurricanes. We had people galore come up to see our town just for that simple message. And we could have one like that on 95 say, freaking Antietam. And I'll tell you, that would bring thousands of people to town. So those probably, the billboards are 2 of your most important things. And then you need your news releases. I never read about Newberry in the downtown state paper, or any of the papers. There's just never anything there.
So that's